Nation of Fit in 10. It is it's day 26. I'm sure I slipped up there. Day 26. And if you have not sent in your feedback to me, please do so. I'm still not getting everybody. So www.trainonmain.com/fit in 10 check-in. Send me your feedback. I always include this in your macro update. Okay, your macro and cardio numbers. The email you get from me every Sunday. Okay. All right, let's get into a little more of the auditing. All right, and I'm not going to go through a bunch of. I went through enough yesterday. I'll just go through a couple here, and I'll do more in the near future. All right, but I pulled out some that are, more than likely major errors. Okay, so here's an example. Cup of spaghetti and meat sauce. I don't know if I wrote this down right. It's either meat sauce or meatballs. Okay, I think it was meat sauce. Cup of spaghetti and meat sauce. And then it had a calorie amount and then, the macros. Okay. It sounds to me when you say like a cup of spaghetti and meatballs, you're just measuring out a cup of spaghetti and meatballs or meat sauce. Okay, that's kind of like saying, let's measure out some sand and water. Okay, how much sand and how much water do you have in there? Well, it's a cup. Okay, but how much of each do you have? We don't know. Okay, so you have to be very careful with this. Now, how could this possibly work? Well, you made a serving of spaghetti and meat sauce and you mixed it in evenly, and it worked out to be, I don't know, let's say 8 servings, just as an example, 8 servings, and you knew all the macros going in, and then now you just have to split it into 8, and let's just say each of the servings was 1 cup. Okay, that works. That works. But I don't think that's what happened. I think you either just estimated or you put in some spaghetti and some meat sauce and it was like, oh, it's 1 cup. You put it on your plate. I'm not sure. I don't know how you came to this. But when I see an entry like this, it's a bogus entry. It's way off. It's probably not nearly on, okay? And a cup of cooked pasta is a lot, especially if it's like noodles or something. Okay, you can pack a lot of food in that. And I think the entry was like 250 calories, around 40 grams of carbs and some other stuff. That's way more than 40 grams of carbs. That is way more than likely, most likely. Of course, I don't know. Maybe it was like this much pasta and the rest was meat sauce, although I don't think it was. Okay, so anyways, this is a bogus entry unless it's exactly what I mentioned in the beginning of this. All right, you pre-measured it out, you portioned it out, and then you knew exactly what the macros were for that even distribution of sauce throughout the pasta, and it went into the cup. Okay. Another entry here. Okay, here's a perfect example of another bogus entry. Beef tenderloin. Somebody puts in 4 ounces of beef tenderloin. Here are the macros for the beef tenderloin. Apparently, these are the macros. 20 grams of fat, 21 grams of carbs, 20 grams of protein. Okay. Just looking at that, what is the problem? What is the problem? It's beef tenderloin. It's beef. I'll read out the macros again. 20 grams of fat, 21 grams of carbs, 20 grams of protein. What is the problem with that? Beef doesn't have carbs, okay? There is no 21 grams of carbs in beef. Doesn't exist. There's no carbs in beef. And unless this is a super fatty beef, there's not 20 grams of fat in there either. Okay? 20 grams of protein, yeah, that seems reasonable for 4 ounces of beef. Of course, it's going to differ if it's cooked or not, or uncooked, okay, which we don't know here either. And here's the other problem with it. The calories for this entry are 180. The calories for this are 180 calories. But you know, if you look at the macros, they don't match the calories. You just know this right off the bat. How do you know? Because you go 20 grams of fat. 20 times 9 is 180. There's all my calories right there, 180. But there's more calories. There's 21 grams of carbs. That's 84 calories. There's 20 grams of protein. That's 80 calories. That's a total of 344 calories. So, you guys have to be more responsible when you're entering food. And if you're unsure, you can ask me, okay? Be more responsible when you're entering your food. Some of you, it seems as though you're, and I'm not speaking for everybody. It seems as though you are just entering in, like it's almost as though you're eating some food and then you're finding something online that kind of matches in terms of the name of what you ate. And then you're just saying, yeah, that's about what that is, and I'm going to plug it in. There we go. I mean, it's when you do this type of thing, your calories can be so off. It can be like, they can be double. Easily. Okay? The cup of spaghetti meatballs, which was like 250 calories, that could easily be 500 calories. It could be 500 calories. Okay? So we need to be very, very careful. Very, very, very careful with our entries. Okay? Let me say this. If things aren't really changing for you, okay, and there are some of you who think things aren't changing for you, and they are changing for you, because I see it in your scan, and it's very reasonable what's happening. But if things aren't changing for you, you need to look upon what you're doing. You have to. You have to. Because there is no magic about this. It's not the diet that works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. It's just calorie. All diets, all these diets that are out there are just calorie deficit. That's all they are. That's all they are. That is all they are. The only reason that some people say, oh, it works for me or it doesn't work for me is because they didn't follow it. Okay? Keto works for some people if they can follow it. And continue to follow it for the rest of their life. It'll work. Okay, so long as they're in a calorie deficit. Okay, but that's the assumption. Okay, if you go on a keto diet and you're in a calorie surplus, you're not losing any fat. You're not going to lose fat. It won't happen. I'm telling you right now, it will not happen. Okay, all diets work. The question is, which one can you sustain? Which one is okay for you? Again, the reason why I do this for you guys is because A, you can learn about food. And B, you get a variety. I'm giving you your 3 macros. There's really no other macros out there. I mean, there's alcohol and stuff like that. You're not getting that. That's just out of the question. I'm sorry. But it's reasonable. You get all types of foods. Okay? Now we're just portion control. And of course, I'm giving you some limitations in terms of the types of foods you can eat. All right? All diets work if they're in a calorie deficit. All diets do. All diets do. It's just which one's going to be easier for you. Which one is more sustainable, okay? And I should preface this by saying all diets work. I'm assuming that you're in a calorie deficit, okay? There's no magic. There's not like a magic food. There's not like, oh, if I cut carbs, then it's going to work. No, it's not true. It's BS. Trust me, I used to think some of this stuff. Okay? I used to think that eating carbs at night was like you're going to put on body fat. No, it's not true. None of this is true, okay? It's much more simpler than you think. All right. Enough of my rant, I guess. On to another rant. I'm already at 9 minutes. Are you kidding me? 9? Really? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about recovery time because somebody asked about recovery time. The 2 best things for recovery: proper nutrition, that is adequate amount of protein and calories. Because if you don't get enough calories, but your protein is there, but you don't get enough calories, then you're going to use protein for energy. Okay? We don't really want to do that. Okay, so that's going to hinder your recovery. So, proper nutrition. So enough calories, not over-consuming obviously, but enough calories and protein, and then enough sleep. Those are the 2 things that will help you the most, okay? Additional comments, feeling pretty good. Got a bit dejected as weight on scale is not changing as much as I'd hoped, but I feel less bulky, so something is working. Thanks, Mark. I admire your dedication. You are most welcome. Okay, so you're feeling a bit dejected on the scale. Okay, so listen, don't judge your weight over a couple weeks, because there are many things that can contribute to your weight. Okay, so when you've lost some fat, let's say you've lost, 3 pounds of fat, it's very easy not to see that on the scale. There are many ways your body can fluctuate your body's body weight. Okay, there are many ways it can fluctuate water. Perfect example, probably some of you have heard me say this before, my weight morning to night always fluctuates 7 to 9 pounds. 7 to 9 pounds. Okay, so am I getting fatter every day and then getting leaner overnight and getting fatter? No, it's just an accumulation of water in my body as the day goes on. Okay, and this happens to you to some degree, not just from morning to night, but from day to day. So you cannot look at the scale and know that that's an accurate reading in terms of what's happening with your body composition day to day. Okay? Is it an accurate reflection of your body composition over 3 months or 6 months if you're following some sort of regime? Yes, of course. Because eventually you're going to drop enough body fat that, there's not going to be that much fluctuation to match the amount of drop in your body fat, right? So over long term, yes. Short term, no. Okay? Man, it was another long one. I swear I was going to do better on this one. Okay, message of the day. All right, here are my 5 P's to success. Practice. You got to practice, 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 practice. You got to practice what you're doing. You've got to promote. That means you need to promote yourself. You need to tell yourself that you are capable of this, that you are a good person, okay? That you have the ability to do what I am asking you to do, or whatever you're working on. Okay, you have that ability. Promote yourself. Patience. You got to be patient throughout this process. It's not an overnight success, and I'm telling you right now, with the way that I'm having you do this, it is a long-term strategy. Long-term takes patience. You need to keep persevering. You need to persevere. And finally, you need to stay positive, right? Keep a positive attitude and know that things will work out, and know that this is and will be a solution for you in terms of fat loss, okay? And as always, positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself for the love of God. Give some gratitude. Talk to you all very soon. See ya.